Cox Mahon, what we do, we are insurance brokers. So plain and simple, we're a specialist insurance broker that arranges professional indemnity insurance and sort of related professional risks for lawyers, surveyors, architects, but essentially professional practices that must have this type of cover to protect themselves against claims alleging professional negligence. And that is the bulk of our business. We have another leg to the business, which is insurance for rural estates, farms and estates, and sort of high value homes. So that is our business in a nutshell. We are independent, FCA regulated insurance brokers based out of Shrewsbury and London. And so that's what we do. I'll start with the name, if I may. So there isn't a Mr. Cox or a Mr. or indeed Mrs. Mahon in the business. The business is owned by myself and a business partner, Richard Amphlett, and so Cox and Mahon are our wives' maiden names. We couldn't figure out any way of using our surnames and weren't very precious about it anyway, and we thought, right, we'll use our wives' maiden names. So so I'm married to the Miss Cox, and my partner Richard is married to the Miss Mahon, and that's where we got Cox Mahon from. So it's as simple as that. So the business was founded in 1996. So we've just had our 25th anniversary, which is very exciting. And we started out in London, and in about 2003, the business developed a footprint up here. And so we've had that dual footprint in Shrewsbury and in London ever since. We moved into the professional risks, wider professional risks sector in about 2004. I was the second person into the business, and the original colleague, he moved on wanting to develop another part of the business in 2014. So we've grown pretty, I like to think fairly rapidly. We're now up to 16 people from originally just one. And so the history's been one of exciting change, bringing on some exciting people, and us getting to a stage where we're reaching out and being part of and supporting organisations like this foundation, which is it's a lovely move for us. When you think we were only 1-2 people working out of almost a shed about 10 miles south of here. So it's been a long journey, but really exciting.
So I'd like to say really that one of the lessons that the pandemic really taught a lot of people was the need to be in front of people. I think we kind of took that for granted during the pandemic, and we found that a lot of our clients did really miss that contact. Not to say that we weren't doing it before, but it meant that they missed it. So what we've kind of drawn from from what happened during the pandemic, and particularly for 2022, is our focus has really been, as we've always been, a service-focused broker. So really making sure that we are providing all of the elements as to how we can contact people, and making sure that the way that their policies work revolves around their business and their lifestyle, for example. So if we've got someone who does more appreciate a face-to-face conversation in order to run through their insurance program, well, that's something that we are ready to do, and that's usually what we lead with. But obviously the pandemic has given us things such as video conferencing. Many of them are available. We also have those facilities as well. So making sure that we really tailor not only the insurance program as we are meant to as FCA regulated businesses, but also to tailor the approach in which we actually talk to people. So that's something that we've really learnt and really honed in on in 2022 to really facilitate those who've really missed that contact with other people that we didn't have over the last 2.5 years.
I would add to that and say that for given the profile of our clients, who are the businesses substantially, the clients are substantially professional practices. Some of them, their annual premiums, insurance premiums, run to tens of thousands of pounds, and it's important for us to have that face time with the clients, because their requirements are they're complicated. It's not the same as a motor policy or a travel policy, and they do expect us to be investing time in them. And it's vital, as James was saying, to actually get in front of them face to face. And after 2-3 years of being unable to do that, it was really important to do. So I think that the big learning point, the thing that we really that's really come across after that gap has been just how important FaceTime is. It's we're in a people industry, and as indeed as the foundation and this football club, and that time, investing that time has been so important. And I think that's what we really recognised when you haven't been able to do that.
Well, one thing that we observed, particularly again during the pandemic, was just how crucial the football club were to the community, to the area of Shropshire. When many other football clubs were kind of standing still during this time, trying to figure out and navigate how to get through this unprecedented time, we noticed that Shrewsbury Town Football Club were using their players, their staff, to go and visit people who were isolated, and visiting them in really practical ways, be it food deliveries, be it helping with prescriptions and things like that. And that really helped us to see that, well, we want to try and do the same thing in insurance, but it was good really to see a football club going out of what they're usually about, in order to really facilitate that. Another thing that we really did admire as well is that your women's team is actually run by the foundation and not just an extension of the men's team, which we do see a lot in the professional women's game at the moment. And that really helped us to see that actually what we are being able to put in is directly going toward the successes of the women's football team at the moment. And it really just, we found those synergies really, that this is a community hub that really go out of their way to really help people. And we haven't even touched on to the fantastic work that you guys are doing in relation to mental health with the specialised sort of workout program that you have in place to help with the list of people waiting for NHS counselling. So it's those really proactive actions that you've taken as a club, as a foundation, to help the community that really drew our attention to you, and why we want to really partner and support those great efforts.
Can I add to that? In answer, a really short answer to your question is, well, this is our hometown. This football club is the nearest football club to us. Our business is based out of Shrewsbury, and what better reason could there be for wanting to support the foundation in its work in the local community? And it's 2-3 miles down the road, and whether we're all huge football fans or just wanting to be part of and contribute to what's going on in our community, it makes no difference. For us, that was the objective, just to be a part of that. And so I couldn't think of a better organisation in that regard, that's reaching out, as James was saying, and the programme that was that you rolled out during COVID, was terrific to see, and so it's lovely to be supporting that.
So one of the key ways in which we as insurance brokers, as well as providing the insurance programs and correct placement of insurance for businesses and for private clients as well, is also by means of our education. So one of the things that we are really passionate about is really providing all of our clients with the tools that they require in order to navigate whether it's their business or whether it's their lifestyle, and making sure that the insurance fits around that and not the other way around. And we really do believe that by providing that education by means of blogs, by means of social media, by means of frequent touch points with all of our client base, no matter how big or small their premiums may be, that really helps us to, or helps the customer really to feel empowered, that they're actually able to make certain decisions, but also that they don't just have to speak to us when their renewal is due, as unfortunately happens to be the case in the industry. And that really helps us, helps them to see that Mahon as a business are not just the insurance broker that you speak to at renewal, but are really, for a business, just an extension to the management of their business. So that any sort of ideas that they may have, things that they might be considering, we can really be not only an insurance broker but a sounding board. And we found that really helpful during the pandemic, because we'd already started that. So the point where people were wondering, how are we going to navigate this pandemic? How are we going to get through? What will we do as a business? It wasn't an alien thing to really call up your insurance broker before the renewal was due to have these conversations, because these are things that they are actually concerned about. So that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on doing for the people of Shrewsbury who currently insure their businesses and lifestyles for us at the moment.
Do you want to go first, James?
I'm very excited about their current FA Cup run at the moment. I think that promotion that they were able to secure last season was absolutely fantastic. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of the players and also meeting a lot of the players while they've been in their full-time work roles as well. And that's been quite nice when we're in the area and out and about, actually seeing these actual players doing their full-time work, because that's an insight that not many people get into football players. Sometimes we just think of, oh, that's their job that they do, but it helps us to see that they are balancing a full-time job and also playing for this fantastic club. So it's been really good for me to get to know the players a lot more. I've been promised a training session with them as well, as I like to play football.
Not sure, is that a good idea for
quite a lot. So it's been really exciting, really, to see that progress, but also seeing the way that they maintain that work-life balance and able to play for such an excellent club as well.
I would just add that from what James has said, you know, the role that the girls play in the community as well as for the club is so important, and the incredible success of the England women's team just has fired up that sort of interest, and that the importance of that can't be overstated. And I'm sure that the girls in the team have felt the effect of that over the summer. But as they're in their roles in the local community and as well as on the pitch, it's an impressive role that they are playing out, and so it's terrific to be supporting in a small way all of that engagement in the community that the girls do, and it's terrific to see.